Hello, and welcome to your friendly and familiar podcast, Fit the Shoe. Tune in to hear my stories and thoughts. On to the show. I met this person online. We started talking. We kind of developed crazy feelings for each other. I mean, we just had so much in common. I felt like he was the one for me. And so in the beginning of that relationship, there was lots of things that I feel like I did not communicate. And the first thing was I did not like the way that the person dressed. I think that was just like a high school mindset, but I always felt like my boyfriend had to look a certain way. Like, if you're gonna date me, you need to look good, okay? I cannot have you walking around with me looking like whatever you look like right now. Like, this is inappropriate. I mean, it was just too not my style. And if people were gonna see my boyfriend, I wanted people to see us as the power couple. So that was one thing that I just kind of kept on the back of my mind. And we continued dating. We actually dated for, like 6 months, 7 months, until things just continued to build up. It was like, I didn't like the way you dressed. I didn't like the way you said certain things. I didn't like the way that you didn't comfort me. I didn't like the way that you were around your friends. When I was around you, like, you would act different. And it was just like a list of things and that I should have really been communicating from day one. I don't know if you guys have been in this position where you're in a relationship and you want to ignore the signs that are telling you shouldn't date this person, or not necessarily these signs, but you want to force a relationship. You're like, this person is the one, right? Like, I have to accept all their flaws, and you should. So I'm not saying that in my marriage things are perfect. Of course, when the marriage started off, like they say, you start seeing different things from a person. Sure, but you learn to accept them. This can also be applied, not necessarily in marriage, but this can also be applied when you're dating someone. You learn to accept their things. But if there's something that you cannot accept, I feel like that's when it becomes not a problem, but that's when it really becomes something that you should really be communicating. So I felt like this person was the one, but I'm not going to express how I feel about something that I don't like, because I don't want them to leave me, or I don't want them to be uncomfortable with what I said. So finally the year came around. We had our 1 year anniversary. We're like, yes, we're looking forward to it. And that same night, I just broke out and I said, I don't like this. I don't like that. I don't like your mom. I don't like your sister. I didn't like the fact that you couldn't dress. I don't, it was just all this negative stuff. It was a combination. I don't like, I don't love, I don't like, I don't love, I don't like. And that can really tear a person, down. And so when the relationship ended, even until this day, I even feel like I was never able to properly close that door. Like, I never really properly apologized. I did say I was sorry, like a year after that had happened, that we had ended the relationship. And he was completely fine from what I saw. I mean, he was like, yeah, no, like, it's totally cool. Like, do you want to hang out, get some breakfast? I'm like, what? Like, I don't know. I feel like that really it was a burden on me. And honestly, it was hard to overcome that, because I had never done that to anyone. I had never just blatted out everything I don't like about them when I really thought this person was the one. And so in that story time, I tell you guys that story time because I feel like it's easier to just knock it out when you first have the thought than to let it sit, because that thought is going to continue to grow in your mind, and then it's going to move on to your heart. And now you don't only think the thought, but you feel, you have some feeling in the thought. So now you feel a certain way about the thought. At first it was just an idea. Then the heart sprinkles a little bit over the idea, and now you're like, well, the thought of you not knowing how to dress is making me not love you. And I know that might sound weird, but it really is a thing. Your heart and your brain work together on that thought, on the idea, on the fact that you are not communicating something. So I think it's so important, guys, to really get those communication skills in motion. Thank you for stopping by. Stay tuned to the next episode. If you haven't already yet, follow me on Instagram at RileyCulture. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at rileyculture@gmail.com.